can all see me, and I think you can all hear me. I think uh, I was wondering whether I should wear this pants or not. I mean, you can't see through this, right? Because there'll be more chaos than I wouldn't want that sort of clarity here today morning. You know, so I'm sure you must be wondering what is CES for breakfast. I'm not bringing anything for breakfast. Uh, and they said, when you're on a TEDx platform, there has to be some sort of drama. So I thought I'll bring some chocolate. But they fixed it up with this mic, cordless mic that I can't pull it out. So that's more chaos. Uh, but anyways, we'll come to what all of that stands for as we go through the session, as we go through the talk. Um, and I was thinking, what is the most chaotic situation that you've been reading on the news lately? It's all about the US, Israel, Iran war, I'm pretty sure, right? I'm sure all of you are following the news, and that's more chaotic than ever. But if you look at what is that clarity that probably we are here looking at, or at least people here in Kerala, people across India for that matter, can you guess? It's that wait for that one gas cylinder that probably either you or your parents would have booked. Am I correct? It's that clarity that they're right now looking at. So chaos is around, clarity is around, but it's all about the wait. It's all about how you can get things on time, uh, etc., etc. Again, I'm not here to talk about LPG or whatever. It's all about clarity in chaos as the theme. But you should also understand that uh, being in chaos is also the most interesting part. Like, say, for example, I asked my folks here in the office to say, I mean, I told them, since, there's lack of LPG supply, why do we work from home, etc., etc. I mean, I gave them an instruction. And the next day I come to office, I have more people in office than the other day. I was wondering why, because either you like or we like chaos in some form or shape. I'm sure, your hostel, probably if you guys are staying in hostels or PGs, the quantum of LPG available there is also less, and you guys are all waiting to rush home as soon as this event is over, probably. So, which means we all love chaos or we like chaos in some form or shape as well. Now, I think that already came. I don't know how that happens. Uh, and what's that? That's chocolate, right? Once chocolate melts, it spreads everywhere. Either we like it, we lick it, we taste it, right? But if you look at why the animation is. Have you tried spaghetti? Confusing. Have you tried eating it with your hands? Gets messier, right? But it's chaotic, but appealing. It's tasty. And these are all metaphors that I'm just trying to pick up to help you understand what clarity, what chaos, what all of that means. So I'm Vinu Peters, uh, neither a nutritionist nor a diabetologist. I'm not going to talk about how many calories does this have, chocolate has versus spaghetti has or whatever. I am a plain vanilla people and culture coach. I like people, I like culture, uh, you know, and and it's basically a glorified version of saying a human resources professional. I'm sure you guys have written to a lot of HR professionals for interns, and I know you generally hate us, but this is what we do uh, for a living. And when sometimes people tell me that, oh, you know what, people and culture is a easy job, and I get really offended because I tell them it's not an easy job, guys. It's actually a very easy job. It's just about people, it's just about culture, it's just about some talent acquisition, it's just about managing resources, it's just about some psychology, it's a madness, craziness. The kind of people that we deal with daily, uh, it's numerous. I remember, I mean, just like Mridul uh, spoke, I was also part of Infosys, and that timer is going backwards, right? Yeah, okay, fine. Uh, And so there was this one guy, um I'm just talking about managing people, right? So there was this one guy, I used to see him in the cafeteria. That's the only place where I see him in the entire campus, because it's a big campus with about roughly 4,000 people. So this is the time where I see him. I generally see him in the morning in the cafeteria. And he comes out of the gym. I mean, he finishes his gym in the morning. He comes to the cafeteria, and I reach the cafeteria for having my breakfast. This is my bachelor life. And I see him ordering about 5 to 8 eggs because he's a bodybuilder and all of that. And he's a fresher. He's just joined fresh as a fresh grad. He's well built, all of that. And then what's a he wants a transfer. A lot of influence comes in. A lot of, I think I got people from, he's basically from Chandigarh, and so he wants to go to Chandigarh, and Infosys Chandigarh location was right across his home or something like that. So he wanted a transfer. He was trying to persuade me. He was actually, I in fact even got calls from some of the local government bodies in Punjab asking me to transfer him. I mean, that's the extent to which these things happen, and I'm talking about quite a lot of years ago. And uh, I said no to all of it. So one fine day, I'm in my cubicle, and he is 6 foot tall. So I'm seated, and he comes, stands in front of me, and I'm scared. I'm scared because I thought he was going to hit me that day. But what literally happened was he stood there and started crying in front of me, saying, "Sir, mujhe ek transfer de do." Right. So that's the kind of people we deal with. That's so. Like I said, people and culture, very easy job. Now, uh, see, uh, culture, strategy, a lot of things. Now, even before I go to this, I think I'll take a. I mean, now that I'm in college, and it reminds me. Um, Again, is there your librarian here? No, right? Again, don't go back and tell the story to your librarian also, right? So we were in college, and do you guys have these no dues forms to be filled? You have? Yes. Oh, so tradition still works. Good. Good to know that. So we also had those no dues forms, and I'm like, during my first year of college, I'm here at the library, and my librarian says, you have to pay 150 rupees for me to sign this form for you to be able to write your exam. And I'm wondering, why 150? Because I've never come to the library even for once. So why this 150? And he said, the 150 is for not coming to the library. And I said, fair enough. I'll take care of this. Come third semester, again, don't try this, like the disclaimer says, right? Don't try this in your college. Don't try this at home. Uh, so, so we went back to, we came back after the third semester, and this had affected a few of us because, you know, this was quite a lot of years ago. And again, don't try guessing my age. I'll probably just say couple of years ago, I just celebrated the 20th anniversary of my graduation. So I'll put it that simple. So maths, you can calculate. But 150 rupees was a lot of money back those days. And so we came back. Some of us were affected by this. We came back, and after the first hour of class, we went to the library, picked up like 4 or 5 huge books, and came out. The biggest we found, we came out the second hour. So, the librarian knew us by face. So he wrote it down. He came back, and then we came back. After another hour, came back and returned all these books. Went, picked up another 4 books from the shelf, came back after 1 hour. So we did this about 4 times. And you know what's interesting? And I think libraries still work like that. So when you return the books are all on the table, right? So the fifth time, by the time I came into the library, the librarian could not even see me because that's how many number of books we had piled up. And he said, "What are you guys trying to do?" I said, "Sir, with all due respect, you charge us 150 rupees for not coming to the library. You will never have to do that again in your life." Right? Now that strategy worked because he said, "Never come back here. I'll pay that 150 for you guys." Now that is strategy. Did that strategy work? Yes. For my benefits, it definitely worked. But it would not have worked if I did not have those few friends who stood with me, who shared that, fun with me, or, who shared that culture with me. And that's why I referred to culture as chocolate, because it's like friendship. Don't you think so? Right? If you don't have friends, you don't have this culture, you don't have this engineering college life, all the fun that you have here. You don't get that if you don't have that sort of a culture, right? So without strategy, everything is like spaghetti, right? It's experience, it calculates it, and then culture is like chocolate that it melts and gets along well. Now, where am I going with this, right? We're going through some of the most chaotic times, I know, in the history of all of us. You take, I mean, you guys are all what, somewhere about 18s, right? Which means you're all born with mobile phones, internet. So internet was probably like oxygen. ഈ വീട്ടിൽ ചെന്നിട്ട് നെറ്റ് ഉണ്ടോ എന്ന് നിങ്ങൾ ആരെങ്കിലും ചോദിച്ച് ശീലിച്ചിട്ടുണ്ടോ? ഇല്ലല്ലോ. ഞങ്ങളൊക്കെ ശീലിച്ചിട്ടുണ്ട്. Because there used to be a time when you had dial-up connections and you waited for all those buffers, and I know these are all memes and mimics that you see on Instagram these days, but this was a reality, right? So back then, so today for you, internet is like oxygen. I mean, you don't even know that there is internet that exists around you. You don't even realize because you don't even ask for it. There's so much. So it's disrupting the whole world. AI to robotics to you name it, pandemic to the number of opportunities out there in the market, the number of fresh grads that get hired every year, the number of people losing their jobs every year, right? So there's so much of disruption. Who has seen so much of chaos, right? So, and if you look at the way organizations are changing, if you look at the way people are changing, if you look at how we are forced to change, to adapt, right? I mean, how many of you know, have you thought about Airtel, Vodafone, or VI they call today? These are telecom companies. How do they have an OTT platform today, right? Why do they need an OTT platform? Again, survival in the most chaotic times, right? They're trying to bring clarity because they want people with them, they want subscribers with them. So everybody is trying to get clarity. Now, if you look at it, if you've noticed this, right? Have you tried a Pepsi or a Coca-Cola vending machine? You have, right? And most of the times you notice, again, more than in India, if you go abroad, you'll notice that right alongside a Pepsi vending machine, you will also find a Coke vending machine. And they're rivals. We all know that they're rivals. So why is it that they have these vending machines together? It's again bringing clarity to your thought process, because if it was just a Pepsi vending machine out there, I would be like, do I want a Pepsi or not? That's just the plain vanilla question. But when you have a Pepsi and a Coke vending machine, the question that I'm trying to figure out is, do I need a Pepsi or a Coke? So the purchase is confirmed. There is clarity that you're going to purchase. So everything around you is changing so much to bring clarity to the way you think, the way we live, the way we live in this society. Why I picked this up and why I love kitchens. You know, uh, I've no just going back a bit, right? Uh, I'm a software engineer who started my career with Infosys. I had my training in Java, and then I was posted in Trivandrum. There were no projects. I was chasing my delivery manager or a delivery director to assign me some work. There was no work. And finally, one day he came and said, there is a project available, but it's in a technology called AS400, which I don't know whether you even know about, whether that's something like that existed. Uh, and it's all in green and black that you do. I said, it's work. Picked it up. And then one fine day, and then I get an opportunity to go to the US. I'm working. One fine day, I called up my dad and said, I want to go to Australia because I'm planning to pursue my higher education. And he said, dude, what the hell? Right? I mean, if you've made your choice, then I can't help it. I made my choices. And then I landed in Australia. And the agent who had sent me and people who were had spoken to told me that, oh, you know what? You've got so much of work experience. You can figure this out, figure that out. But I went to Australia not knowing that, or rather, having to realize that these jobs, that so called IT jobs, where I knew something, do not exist so easy. So I picked up a job in McDonald's. And have you done part time in any of these McDonald's, KFC joints? Anybody here? No? You should go there. That's where you can actually learn chaos. There's so much of chaos in the kitchen, and that's something that teaches you. McDonald's actually taught me how to work with my two hands at the same time. It was so much of practice. You had to be so precise, you had to have so much of clarity, you have to think, you have to act, you have to run, you have to chase, you have to pay. And it's it's fascinating. I mean, it was a struggle through 1.5 years working in working in that store in the kitchen. But if you get a chance, trust me, you should all pick up a part-time job to work in a kitchen. Again, what it teaches you: strategy designs the menu, knowing what people want to eat, how to eat, or whatever. But if you don't have culture, the culture runs the kitchen. You know, uh, it's teamwork. It's the people with the right mindset. If they don't open the store on time to doing, clearing the store on time or getting the stuff out of the freezer on time, chaos can be anywhere. But culture brings strategy brings that clarity, and uh, culture brings that strategy that you need for the work to happen. You know why this slide? How have you? Okay, be honest, all right? I'm trying to see. Have you bunked classes? Come on, be louder. Are you sure? Because I thought you're studying in engineering school and not really engineering colleges. You can correct me, right? Okay. I hope there are no teachers around who are listening to you. But when you're in a class and you want to bunk, what's it that you do? You just look at your friend and one of your friends who is willing to bunk, and then you go, and then your friend is like, and then you're going to the third person, you do the same, and the second person is like, and then three of you out of class. Works like that, right? Now that again defines culture for you, because just that movement in your eyebrows, just the look on your face has actually solved the clarity problem, right? So that's culture giving clarity in chaos. And that's why they say CES for breakfast. Yeah, that's culture eats strategy for breakfast. So if you don't have that right culture, if you don't bring the right mindset, if you're not in the company of the right people, no strategy works, right? So with that, I'll wind up. Thank you so much. Thank you.